I had my lunch break today in Stratford upon Avon, and music was all around. I was outside and there was a guy busking. There's always loads of buskers. You can always listen. So I'm sat outside having my lunch, working in Stratford today. And this woman comes and sits next to me and starts chatting away. I was quite friendly. She was quite friendly. I thought we were hitting it off quite well. And then she hands me this, which is one of these Jehovah's Witness pamphlets, asking about my future. I really don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Yep, you've guessed it, I am driving once again. Joy of joys. It's been a funny old day really. Quite a normal day for me in a way, but thought-provoking. Talking about listening, I've been recommended this album for a long time by some students of mine. Actually 3 different sources now, and I finally got to listen to it. Speaking of listening, just check this out. Okay, I just turned up at the studio for my rehearsal tonight. I'm pretty buzzing actually for 2 reasons. One, I'm really excited about doing my own stuff. And 2, I've gone back on the caffeine. I haven't had caffeine for a long time. I feel a bit kind of wired. Anyway, it's all good. Today was a funny one though. I had my normal day of teaching, and that woman just with the pamphlet really kind of made me think about loads of different things. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about listening. So a lot of people talk about, they ask me about how to get good at music and how to learn how to play jazz and swing and all this sort of stuff, and how they can phrase properly, and how they can learn music and absorb it in the best possible way, and what they need to practice. The sort of stuff that I tend to go on about in the blog and these videos and stuff. The number one thing, and this is pretty much what every musician says, it's about listening. Now I often get told off for listening in, perhaps a little bit too much in a way. My wife absolutely hates it. If we go out for a meal, she'll be talking away and I'll be listening to the little pipe music in the background, and she'll just get really wound up. But because my ears immediately lock onto the music, and I try and absorb it all the time, So this is the biggest thing that I would suggest that you do. is to just absorb music, and it is absolutely everywhere. I had my lunch break today in Stratford upon Avon, and music was all around. I was outside and there was a guy busking. There's always loads of buskers. There's music coming from shops and from everywhere. So you can always listen. I've talked before about active listening. It's not just like thinking, oh, that's nice as music in the background. You've got to really absorb what it is that's going on. You've got to ask yourself some musical questions. So, you can kind of go through and analyse it. What tonality is it? Is it major or minor? What key is it in? What time signature is it in? What's the feel for it? What description would you give it? What lines is it using? What kind of melodic shape has it got? There's so many questions that you could ask yourself and analyse as much as possible and get a real feel for it and absorb it. This is especially true of jazz phrasing. So if you listen to jazz musicians, I was listening in the car, and to hear that phrasing of, the articulation and the style and the dynamics associated with it, you can't really see that from stuff written down on the page. You have to just absorb it. It's a bit like going and living in a different country and absorbing the language. You've got to do it. It's the best way of really understanding what's going on and speaking it yourself. So of course the other time that I get into trouble for listening is when people talk to me and I listen a bit too intently maybe, and I don't know, maybe they appreciate it. This woman today obviously did, and she handed me the pamphlet, and she suggested I try thinking about God. Fine, I might do, but I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to do in terms of listening just generally as a musician, but maybe as a human being as well. I think if we all listened a lot more, trying to get a deep message in here, I'm not sure it's going to work, but if we listened more to each other, maybe we would get on better and we would find out things about ourselves. Of course, there's stuff that I listen to that really doesn't really do it for me, so like the busker today in the street, it was quite funny actually. I just missed managing to get the footage of him play Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, which is just a busker's classic, and I think the pound coins started flying into his case at that point from the old days. That's fair enough, but I mean, he made an absolute meal of it, and it was fairly atrocious. Anyway, you can listen to the busker, and I want you to comment below. I want you to listen to it and just make some observations about it. What is it that you can hear? So really analyse it and give me some comments. How does it make you feel? Does it kind of seem convincing? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's mediocre? What is it? Just give me some ideas, and the more creative you can be, the better. I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, so I'm going to crack on with my rehearsal. They're getting ready next door. I'm really excited about it. I'm playing my own original music, which I've been working on for months and months, and this is the second rehearsal, so I'm going to go and play some tunes, and hopefully there's been some sort of message that's come across. That's the idea anyway. I'll see you on another one.